Hello guys, welcome to my channel Chem Insider. So in today's class, we are going to discuss about the topic of Dalton's atomic theory, which is from our chapter class 11's Some Basic Concepts in Chemistry. So in the previous classes or in your previous studies, you have observed about a term called atom, right? We have come across a term called atom, which is named after a Latin word atomio. That means the finest particle present in a given matter. That is, atom is the finest particle present in a matter. That is, matter cannot be further divided after atom. So that is, atoms cannot be further divided. So these atoms constitute as our scientific matters, the matter which we usually come across in our day-to-day life. So atoms make up matter, and these atoms cannot be further divided. So this is what we have come across in our earlier studies of in class 10 and class 10. Now, what we later came to know is John Dalton in the year 1808, scientist named John Dalton, in the year 1808 proposed a theory on atoms. We call them as Dalton's atomic theory. We call it as Dalton's atomic theory. So in this theory, he gave forth some propositions with explaining atoms present in a given element or matter. So these atoms present in a given element or matter are proposed in 4 points, and in the first point he said that atoms are the finest particle present in a matter. Atoms are the finest particle present in the matter. That means atoms cannot be further more divided. The first point he said was atoms cannot be further divided into its minute particles. Atoms cannot be further divided. So this is what we observed in the first proposition. And in the second proposition, he said that atoms present in a given molecule or element has same, if you consider a molecule of, if you consider an element such as sodium, if sodium is considered as a metal, if sodium metal is taken, sodium metal has every sodium atom present in it. Sodium element has every atoms of sodium present in it. That atoms present will be having same physical properties such as mass, chemical properties, and etc. That is, atoms of an element, if you are considering two different atoms of a same element, so those atoms will have every other property similar to one another. That is, atoms of element, atoms of same element have exactly similar properties, and if you consider atoms of two different elements, then those have different properties. For this example, you can consider two atoms of sodium. So both the atoms of sodium have same properties with same mass, same density, etc. And if you consider atoms of different elements, atoms of two different elements have different properties. Atoms of two different elements have different properties such as different masses, different values of its AMUs and density, etc. Different properties. Okay, so this is about the second proposition. The third proposition he said was, if a compound is formed by the combination of two similar or different matter, if compounds are formed by combination of two different elements, then that compound exhibits property with respect to both of them. So if a compound is formed, the compound formed by two different atoms, of different elements possess different properties. That is, if hydrogen and oxygen taken, if we are combining hydrogen and oxygen to form water molecule, then the water molecule formed will have a different property. It doesn't have property with respect to either hydrogen or with respect to oxygen. And the last proposition John Dalton said was chemical reaction involves recombination of different atoms or molecules. Chemical reaction involves recombination of atoms of a compound, atoms of two compounds, two or more compounds. So if you consider the chemical reaction between HCl and NaOH, we have different composition. HCl with NaOH gives NaCl and water, right? So the combination of HCl with NaOH changes. That is, HCl treated with NaOH gives us H2O and NaCl. So here the combination of the compounds have been completely changed. So this is what about the last composition. That is, in a chemical reaction, it involves recombination of atoms of two or more compounds. So these are the four concepts which Dalton's atomic theory was explained in the year 1808. Okay, so this is about John Dalton's atomic theory. Next we are going to discuss about is atomic mass and molecular mass. Since we have known about atoms and molecules from our atomic theory, we are going to explain atomic mass and molecular mass. So what is atomic mass and molecular mass? So atomic mass is one which is nothing but the mass of one atom of a compound. Atomic mass is defined as, initially it was considered as mass of a given element. So but that given element's mass was not specifically given with a specific formula or value. So like for example, if you consider atomic mass of hydrogen, in the previous days hydrogen's atomic mass was considered as 1 and it was relatively used for finding out the masses of other elements. If it is for helium, it was considered 2 times of hydrogen. So that is 2. So in this way, we relatively arrange the masses of given elements or atoms in the earlier days. Later, we come across a new system of recognition in the year 1960. Here, we use the isotope of carbon, that is the 12C isotope of carbon. We use carbon-12 isotope and its mass in order to find out atomic mass of an atom or an element. Okay, so the carbon-12 isotope's mass was used as a relation for finding out the masses of other elements. So how did we do that? So for that, we should consider the carbon-12 isotope's mass and mass of one hydrogen atom. So in the newer system of mass recognition, we come across a new system called carbon-12 isotopic masses. So how is this defined is, atomic mass of a substance is equal to atomic mass of an element. Atomic mass is equal to 1 by 12 the mass of carbon-12 isotope. So we should consider carbon-12 isotope's mass and we should take its 1 by 12th part in order to know its atomic mass. So now, how to determine this atomic mass of a given compound? For that, let us consider one example. So for this atomic mass, we use a unit called AMU, that is atomic mass unit. Atomic mass unit. So this atomic mass unit is taken as 1 by 12 into 6 to the C to the power 12 mass. That is C12 is nothing but carbon-12 isotope. So we have found that 1 AMU is equal to 1.6735 into 10 to the power minus 24 gram. That is, we have taken the carbon-12 isotope's mass and we have divided that by 12. Okay, so that we found it as 1 AMU. That 1 AMU is equal to 1.67 into 10 to the power minus 24 grams. So this is the value of 1 AMU. Now, if you have to determine mass of atomic mass of specific element, so what you have to do is, in terms of AMU, you need to take its gram mass and divide it with atomic mass unit. Let us consider we need to determine the mass of an atom in terms of AMU. For atomic mass of hydrogen, in terms of AMU, we need to consider as 1.6735 into 10 to the power minus 24 divided by atomic mass of hydrogen in terms of grams. So that is 1.6603 into 10 to the power minus 24. On this getting cancelled, we get 1.008 AMU. So this is the atomic mass of hydrogen in terms of AMU. Okay. So now, what is an atomic mass? Atomic mass of an element is equal to 1 by 12 to the mass of carbon 12 isotope. 1 by 12 to the mass of carbon 12 isotope. So 1 by 12 to the mass of carbon 12 isotope is found to be 1.67 into 10 to the power minus 24. So now if you have to determine the atomic mass units of each of the atom, then take the atomic mass of that atom in terms of its mass. So now divide the atomic mass unit by the atomic mass of hydrogen in terms of grams. We get 1.008 AMU. So this is the atomic mass unit of hydrogen. Like for example, if you have to calculate for oxygen, so oxygen we consider 1.6735 into 10 to the power minus 24 divided by 1.008, so divided by 1.6603 into, for hydrogen, as I said, for hydrogen, if it is hydrogen 1, then oxygen we consider as 16, right, for its double value. So multiply this by 16, that gives us 16.003 something. That gives us 16.03 certain terms of value. So atomic mass of oxygen will be 16.03 AMU. So this is how we find out atomic mass of a given element or atom. But in the recent days, what we have observed is some of the elements present on the periodic table has found to have multiple atomic masses. That is nothing but the respective isotopes. For in case of carbon itself, we have 3 isotopes of carbon, that is carbon 12, carbon 13 and carbon 14. So in the later years, what we have found out is those which have isotopes in the nature, those elements which have isotopes in nature are considered in the terms of average atomic mass, which is denoted by the symbol U. So instead of taking AMU, now we consider U, which is nothing but the average atomic mass. If an element has isotope, we take its relative abundance and its respective molecular atomic mass and we calculate the average of it, and that average value is nothing but average atomic mass of that respective element, which is denoted given by the SI unit U. Okay. So now let us discuss about average atomic mass. So average atomic mass. For knowing average atomic mass, let us consider again our carbon 12 isotope itself. In case of carbon, as I said, we have 3 isotopes of carbon, right? We have 3 isotopes of carbon. So out of those, first one is carbon 12 isotopes, which has a relative abundancy of 98.8%, which our atomic mass is, whose atomic mass is 12. And we have 13C isotope with relative abundancy of 1.108%, whose atomic mass is 13. And 14C isotope with relative abundancy 0.00, so that is 2 into 10 to the power minus 10. So that is about very minute parts of C14 isotope and its mass is 14. So now to find the average atomic mass of given carbon atom, what we have to do is we have to multiply the respective relative abundancy with atomic mass and divide all these by 3 because we have 3 isotopes. Okay. For average atomic mass of carbon, we consider 98.8 divided by 100. That is in the terms of percentage, right? 98.8 divided by 100 into 12 plus 1.108 divided by 100 into 13 plus 2 into 10 power minus 4 divided by 2 into 10 power minus 10 divided by 100 into 14. Now on calculating all this value, we get the calculation of these values as 12.011 U. So that is average atomic mass of carbon is 12.01 U. In similar way, we have chlorine atoms of isotope 35 and chlorine of 75, chlorine of 37. So out of this, we have 75% of chlorine 35 isotope and 25% abundancy of chlorine 37 isotope. So on finding out average atomic mass of chlorine isotopes, we found that its value is 35.5 U. So this is average atomic mass. So all the masses which you find out in the periodic table is nothing but its average atomic mass, which is given by the SI unit U. So this is about the average atomic mass. So what is average atomic mass? It is the average of atomic masses which is multiplied with the respective relative abundancy of a given element's different isotopes. Okay. So a molecular mass is one which is the sum of number of atoms and its respective masses present in it. So if you consider the molecule of a compound, let us say H2O. So the molecular mass of this H2O is nothing but sum of the atomic masses of atoms present in it. That is, molecular mass of a compound is the sum of atomic masses of each of the atoms present in it. So in this case, we have 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. That is, 2 into 1 atom of oxygen mass is 1.008. Plus we have 1 atom of oxygen, that is 1 into 16.03. So if we add these two, we get 18.04 something, right? So this is about atomic masses or molecular mass of a compound, which is again given in the unit U. Okay, so what is molecular mass? It is the sum of atomic mass of atoms present in it. Atoms present in a molecule of a compound. Atoms present in a molecule of a compound. So molecular mass is defined as sum of atomic masses of atoms present in a molecule of a compound. Okay, so this is about atomic mass. Next is about formula mass. So what is formula mass? A formula mass comes into play when there is a compound of single atoms or multiple atoms, such as some solids, crystalline solids. Let us say, for example, sodium chloride. So this sodium chloride is a compound formed by arrangement of sodium and chlorine atoms in a 3 dimension. So what we do is we arrange sodium atoms and chlorine atoms one after the other in 3 dimension, such as like this. Similarly, we will have more atoms in this way, in this direction and in this direction. So in all 3 directions, we are going to arrange each of the sodium and chlorine atom such that it forms a solid. Okay. So here, instead of calculating all the sodium atomic masses and so all the chlorine atomic masses, what we consider is, we consider the formula of sodium chloride, that is NaCl. Instead of taking each and every atoms of sodium and each and every atoms of chlorine, what we consider is, we just consider its actual formula of composition. The sodium chloride is formed by reaction between one sodium atom and one chlorine atom, right? So what we do here in this case is, we are going to add the atomic mass of the formula of that given compound. So atomic mass of this formula is, atomic mass of sodium is 23 and atomic mass of chlorine is 35.5, right? Atomic mass of sodium is 23 and atomic mass of chlorine is 35.5. So in this case, what we are going to do is, we are going to add those two values. We will get around 24 and we get 39.5 something value. That is almost approximately equal to 40. Therefore, formula mass of certain compounds such as sodium chloride, zinc sulfide, etc., which are formed by arranging those atoms in 3 dimensions, can be calculated by just adding up the atomic masses of those elements present in the compound in their formula. Okay, we are going to consider just its one formula and we are going to add those two to find its respective formula mass. Okay, so for sodium chloride, we have formula mass of 39.5 U. So this is the formula mass of compounds present. Okay, so this is about the different masses present in our chemistry. One is atomic mass, average atomic mass, molecular mass, and then comes the formula mass. Next we are going to discuss about the mole concept and respective molar mass. Mole concept and molar mass. So what is this mole concept? So now, as I have explained, we have masses of each of the substances in the respective order, and each of the substances or elements have respective number of atoms present in it. Okay. So instead of taking all those terms, if you just consider, what we say is, if we have grapes or bananas, what we do is 1 dozen banana is considered as 12 bananas is considered as 1 banana, right? 1 dozen banana. So instead of taking a higher value, we convert them into a simpler value, right, in order to be specific. So in a similar way, instead of taking the whole atomic masses and those concepts, what we do is we convert them into a simple concept, that is nothing but the mole concept. So what does this mole mean? So mole means the mass of given atomic compound in its respective number of atoms. If you take a given substance of certain volume, if you say this is the space in which we are considering a volume of gas or any substance. So we consider a mole if the mass of this substance is equal to its respective atomic mass unit. The mass present in this area is said to be 1 mole. If this has equal number of atoms present with respect to carbon-12 isotopes mass. So we have discussed this mole in our 7th basic physics quantity in the earlier classes. So what does a mole define is? The mole is nothing but the number of atoms present, which is equal to the number of atoms found in carbon-12 isotope. Okay, if you take equal volumes of two boxes, in which we have one C12 isotope which we have measured exactly, and then we have taken another box with a different compound or element or molecule, then this molecule or element or substance is said to be 1 mole if it has equal number of atoms, just like the same as that of carbon-12 isotope. That is, if we have to find the number of atoms present in a carbon-12 isotope, we need to determine number of mass, what is the total mass of carbon-12 isotope, and mass of each carbon atom. So we have found that mass of carbon-12 isotope is 12U, right? That is 12.001 U. So this is the average atomic mass of carbon-12 isotope. Now what we have to do is we need to divide the total mass by mass of one atom. So let us say if this is a box and this box has 6 small boxes present in it. If we know the total mass of this box, let us say 25 kilograms, and you know that there are 6 boxes, but you have to find the mass of each box, right? So what you do is you divide this. If you know mass of each boxes and you don't know the number, so let us say we erase these boxes, we don't know the exact number of boxes present. So let us say we have taken a big box in which we are keeping small boxes of 2 kilograms each. Okay, we are placing small boxes of 2 kilograms each. So in order to find the total number of boxes present, what we do is we divide the total mass of the box divided by mass of small box, each box. So we will get 2 by 25, that is around 12.5 boxes. Let us say around 12 boxes, right? Similarly, in order to find the total number of atoms present in a given carbon-12 isotope, what we do is first we need to find the total average atomic mass of carbon-12, which we have discussed earlier, that is found to be 12.001 units, and now we have to divide that value by mass of each atom of carbon. Mass of each atom of carbon was found to be 1.99 into 10 to the power minus 23. 1.99 into 10 to the power minus 23. So once you divide these two, we get a value of 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 atoms per mole. That is, if you consider 1 mole of carbon-12 isotope, that carbon-12 isotope of 1 mole contains 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 atoms. Okay, 1 mole of carbon-12 isotope contains 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 atoms. Now, if we have to know the mole of hydrogen, so that hydrogen, if we arrange 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 number of atoms of hydrogen in a container, then that container is said to be 1 mole of hydrogen. Understood? So, if you arrange 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 number of atoms of hydrogen in a box, in this box, then this box is said to be having 1 mole of hydrogen. If you arrange 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 molecules of water, that is, this is one molecule. If you arrange 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 molecules of water in this box, then this box is said to be 1 mole of water. Understood? If you arrange 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 molecules of sodium chloride in this box, then this box is said to be 1 mole of formula mass of sodium chloride. Understood? So that is about the 1 mole. That is, mole is nothing but the number of atoms present equal to the total number of atoms formed to be in carbon-12 isotope. The total number of atoms present in carbon-12 isotope is 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 atoms. So this number, that is 6.022 into 10 to the power 23, is called as Avogadro number, because it was scientist Avogadro who said as a molecule contains equal number of atoms in same temperature and pressure of same volumes container. Okay, so therefore we call this 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 as Avogadro number. Okay, so now what is molar mass? The mass exhibited by this 1 mole of compound. The mass of 1 mole of a given element or atom or compound is said to be molar mass. Molar mass is the mass of 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 molecules of a given compound. So if a compound has 6.022 to 10 to the power 23 molecules in it, so that mass of the total molecules present is nothing but the molar mass of the given compound. So this is all about for today. If you understood this video, please do like my channel and subscribe to my channel in order to get more videos updates. And thank you for watching.